post here, Reckless Pixel Images for August 15th. So in part one, I was talking about the longhorn that I captured an image of, and I was able to get out early in the morning. So here was the second image. Now again, it was a hot, steamy morning here. It was probably 72 degrees or thereabouts when I left my house first thing in the morning around 6 o'clock, and these images were captured about an hour later. So the first image, this is the second image, but the first of the series was this little workshop, and I just did a little series on this. I changed my settings around a little bit just to see what was going to work. But I'm driving down an old country road and looking angular up the driveway off to my left, and as I'm going up a hill, I'm looking angular down this driveway, and I see this setting, and you got the hot steaminess, you see that in there. This is a raw image, so it's totally flat. There's nothing that's been done to this here at this point to enhance it. So I did a couple. I shot, let's look at the settings here at 1/40th of a second, 3.5, 200 on the ISO, and I had to go to 200, but when I went to 200, it kind of brightened the scene nicely, brightened it nicely. Obviously you can see what's going on here, and we can see, I was focusing around this sign. This appears to all be in focus, and even back here is in focus at 3.5 is not too bad. But in the realistic part of it is, this is really kind of what the scene looked like, maybe even darker like that. Now there's one, let's see, 1/20th second at 5.6 at 100 ISO, so it's a lot cleaner. And you notice when we go cleaner, we see less haze in here, but this is really the lighting. It was dark in there. It was a very dark image. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to do a creative edit. I'm going to try to retain this haze. I'm not going to add any haze to it. I'm going to retain what's here, just maybe enhance it a little bit. And using just the normal rules of editing where I want to draw the viewer in to a certain location, I drew the viewer in to the building by just brightening the building and making it the focal point. So I still retained the darkness. I did bring in the yellowness of the sunlight as I did with the longhorn, because you got to remember, these leaves are not going to be bluish like they were in let's go back to where, actually let's see, what are we at? We're at 1/40th of a second. So I actually did take this from the series that was shot with 200 ISO. And if you go back to let's see, what are we at? 67. So it was this image right here, and there's no yellowishness to it. The white balance is way off because early morning sun is going to be yellow. So again, nothing serious, just a creative edit, so to speak. The image is not, nothing to write home about, but it is this nice little picturesque, weirdly kind of setting. I mean, if we go and let's dissect the scene, so we got this little workshop. It looks like they probably work in there in the wintertime. It has a stovepipe that they've got covered with a bucket to keep the rain from going down. But you see the roof is very, very covered. It hasn't been cleaned in a while. Go beyond and you look at this part here, and this is actually part of the house, I believe, and it's kind of broken. Now look at the roof of the house. This is the porch roof, and it just looks horrible. And the porch actually doesn't even look like there's a way to get to it. So there may actually be nobody living in this house. We see a lock here. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and we can certainly see, okay, it's locked up. Looks like some black water conduit, maybe could possibly be electric, plastic conduit. Here's a pulley on a rope. This looks like maybe a bail hook, or it could be a pair of ice tongs. Hard to tell. I don't know who would have ice tongs in this day and age, but you never know. Here's a mailbox, and it's got hubcaps on it, and there's some other pieces of wood laid up there. Here's another mailbox. And quite honestly, this thing looks like one of those seats that you sit on that you put a potty underneath, like a potty seat that's flipped upside down. So if that's true, that is what that is. I'm not sure. It could tell us that an older person or a disabled person or somebody that didn't get around too good might live there. We got some stuff tucked up in the eaves here. Some cinder blocks. Looks like weed killer or maybe some fertilizer or bug killer or something like that. It's just it's kind of weird seeing what people have and just looking at it. So anyway, that's it. Creative edit. Nothing to write home about, but it is a nice little country setting. Oh yeah, one more thing here. You got this ray of light coming down in here. That I didn't put that in. That is actually there. And this old building, which is probably older maybe than the house itself, this is an old spring house. If you look in this area right here, beyond, and you're peering down through, and this area here takes us over to the creek bed. There's a creek. This place sits right along a creek. That's why it's so misty and kind of foggy down there in the morning. And this sits in a valley, and the mountains go up on each side of the creek. The mountains really climb up. So more than likely, this is a spring that bubbles up out of the ground here, and they built a spring house around it. So there you go. Let's zoom out. Let's hit full screen. Look at it one more time. Just a nice little fun photo and something to practice editing. Okay, everybody, check me out on social media. You know, recklesspixel.com. There's actually a page on Reckless Pixel that takes you to all the social media. I'm on Instagram as Lens Wizard, Reckless Pixel on Facebook, and if you like this video, hit like and subscribe and come back and watch me talk about more videos. And I also have tutorials that I put up from time to time on how to use Lightroom and even some basic Photoshop. Mostly everything that I do is geared towards the amateur photographer or the beginning photographer that just wants to get guided in the right direction with Lightroom and stuff like that. Till next time, thank you.